What are the margins like at Sweetgreen
Healthy.
from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we look at our margins versus best in class, we're right in line. And for us, it's really trying to balance building a supply chain where we can pay our farmers the right price, paying our team members the right wages, and also having a price that is accessible enough to most of our customers. So I think that when we balance all those things, and also balance that with having a business that can be profitable and still grow, that's kind of where we find our equilibrium.
Right. Margins seem to be a lot tougher in the delivery space. Caleb, can you talk to me about your margins over at Maple?
Yeah, I mean, so we're obviously still very subscale, and we're only in four, as you've pointed out, only in four small neighborhoods in New York. I think for us, we actually, we do lose. I agree that there's a bunch of crossover in customers, right? But I think that for the customer who does want delivery, we're essentially building a platform that's going to be able to deliver the best value, and it's going to allow us to sort of capture the most margin. And that's because if you just think of sort of the spectrum from a full-blown marketplace to a traditional brick and mortar retail operation, we're sort of somewhere in the middle, right? And so we're purpose building this infrastructure to allow us to really get enormous leverage out of our locations. So we always use Chipotle as an example, just because they got 42 locations below Central Park. They do something like 50,000 meals a day just below Central Park. We would build something like 8 locations to service that same volume. So we end up building fewer locations. We end up paying significantly less per rent just because we're not foot traffic driven, and then we get enormous leverage out of our labor in those locations, and that sort of adds up to industry leading or better margins. So from a business model standpoint, as our business scales, it's going to become really, really attractive from a margin standpoint.
Got it. Ilya, what are the margins like at Blue Apron?
I think in line with the rest of the answers, our margins are very, very good. They've been great from the start, and what's been really exciting is there's no software to run a business like ours. So our engineering team has had to build a lot of software to run our operations in our fulfillment centers to kind of direct these thousands of warehouse associates to make sure that our business has been efficient. And so we've seen some really great pickup over the past couple of years. And what's really exciting about that is that as our margins improve, coupled with improvements in the supply chain efficiencies, similar to Sweetgreen, we're working directly with farms, hundreds of farms now actually, to kind of plant seeds in the ground to harvest 12 to 18 weeks later. And with those efficiencies, we're actually able to ultimately down the road pass those savings on to customers, so we can actually make this something that the whole country can enjoy from a pricing standpoint.